those elements in live shopping, so I'm obsessed with live shopping.
Perfect. Do you think that the revenue to be had there is through volume? Are people making these purchases because they are low risk and low value?
That's a great question. I would say yes-ish. I'm gonna be overly transparent. I bought a $20,000 trading card last night on live social shopping on the way to the airport. That is true. So one of the first movers in live social shopping in Europe and America is the collectible space. And those are big ticket items. I've watched people buy a $45,000 comic book on live shopping. But I think your point's well taken. For our Fortune 500 set, I do think that they are, it's more common to buy an $85 hoodie or a $15 nightlight than, let's say, a $500,000 ring. However, I do predict comfortably that this will go through the same thing that social media did. When I was there in 2007, 8, 9, everyone's, yeah, but will people buy expensive stuff? And I don't think it's lost on anyone. There are people who bought $1 million watches on one post on Instagram. And again, this is where I'm not guessing. In China, there's a handbag lady who's doing $8 million a show selling $40,000 handbags 1 second at a time. So yeah, I think people will buy big ticket items on this.
What sets Advertising Week apart from other industry events, and why do you think it's a must attend?
You know, I think Advertising Week stands out for me personally because of just the caliber. You know, there's other, you know, first and foremost, it's one of the few events in a year where the industry comes together at scale. But in comparison to several others that have that going for them, I think it's the caliber. You know, I think you're just getting decision makers. You're getting real brands, you're getting real executives from real agencies, and just A+ caliber of humans.
And for you personally attending, what do you look to get out of Advertising Week?
There's a lot of things that go through my mind when I go to Advertising Week. First, serendipity, to be honest. You know, just even walking in between these interviews, somebody saying hello or me saying hello to somebody that used to work for us, catching up. You know, obviously at this point in my career, I have enough of a presence and awareness and notoriety that people may come up and want to have a conversation with me, which is always business development or karma. For me, both are actually, I'm so grateful for how I was parented. It is equally exciting to me if somebody comes up to me out here saying, I want to give you our money and work with you, as it is saying, hey, can you quickly make a selfie video for my nephew? He's a big fan. Or, hey, can you get me a job at this company that you're an investor in? So these kind of events really work for me. And then, you know, I like sharing my subjective, potentially wrong, occasionally right points of view on our industry, what's happening in marketing, the state of the union. I like sharing. You know, I don't hold our company's secrets in. I like being part of this community. You know, it's been a journey for me. I was very much an outsider and a loud one, and was very convicted in something most people didn't believe in. So 15 years in, events like this are enjoyable because of the journey, you know? Just fruitful conversations, fruitful opportunities, and honestly learning. You know, as much as I love yapping, I would tell you that most of my yapping comes from a lot of listening before I decide to yap. So listening to people's different points of view. I'm actually always scared to be delusional or high on my own supply. So listening to other talks or